The massive alien ship appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's orbital sensors showed nothing unusual. The next, a vessel larger than any human-made structure hung above the planet like a steel thundercloud. Its dark metal surface reflected the sun's light, creating an artificial eclipse over parts of North America. Admiral James Walker stood in Earth Defense Command's main control room, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of dozens of screens. Around him, technicians and officers worked frantically at their stations, trying to make sense of the readings from their sensors. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Mike Peters, his fingers dancing across his console. "They're using perfect English." Walker nodded grimly. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall humanoid figure with pale blue skin and ornate military decorations. The alien's voice boomed through the speakers, filled with contempt and authority. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Dex of the Imperial Fleet. Your planet now falls under the jurisdiction of the Galactic Empire. We have observed your primitive civilization and its pitiful attempts at space warfare. Your outdated ships and basic weapons are no match for Imperial might." Walker's jaw tightened, but he kept his expression neutral. On the screens around him, Earth's small defense fleet of 30 ships could be seen orbiting the planet. Old vessels, many showing signs of wear, they looked like toys compared to the massive Imperial ship. "You have 30 Earth days to surrender and submit to Imperial rule," Dex continued. "Resist, and we will demonstrate the true power of the Empire. The choice is yours, though I suggest you choose wisely." The transmission cut off abruptly. The control room erupted in worried chatter. Walker turned to his second-in-command, Captain Robert Green. "Call an emergency meeting of the Defense Council. Level 0 protocols." 20 minutes later, in a secure underground chamber 200 meters beneath the surface, Walker faced the 12 members of Earth's Defense Council. The room was simple but secure, its walls lined with advanced jammers and anti-surveillance systems. "Ladies and gentlemen," Walker began, his voice steady, "the moment we've spent 50 years preparing for has arrived." Council member Diana Brown leaned forward. "Are we certain this is the same empire we detected all those years ago?" "Ship design matches our long-range scans perfectly," Walker confirmed. "They're exactly who we thought they'd be." "Then everything is in place?" asked Council member Thomas Reed, his fingers drumming nervously on the table. Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Every piece. Our public fleet is exactly what they expect to see. Old, outdated, and seemingly weak. They have no idea about the rest." "Activate Protocol Hydra," ordered Council Leader Marcus Stevens, his voice firm. "Send the coded signals. Every hidden facility, every secret shipyard, every stealth-shielded training base. Wake them all up." Walker pressed his palm against a biometric scanner built into the table. Around the room, other council members did the same. Deep beneath the oceans, inside hollowed-out asteroids, and hidden in the dark craters of the moon, computers received the authentication codes and began their startup sequences. "How long should we maintain the charade?" Brown asked. "We let them think they've won," Walker replied. "Let them believe we're just another primitive species about to fall to their mighty empire. Let them come in full force, thinking this will be an easy conquest." He stood up, looking each council member in the eye. "For 50 years, we've hidden our true strength. We've built our real fleet in secret, developed technologies they can't imagine, and trained crews they don't know exist." The council members nodded in agreement. They had all dedicated their lives to this moment, preparing humanity for this confrontation. "Send our response to the Empire," Walker commanded. "Tell them Earth's Defense Council requests a meeting to discuss their terms." As the message was sent, Walker thought about the thousands of stealth ships hidden throughout the solar system, their crews ready and waiting. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive civilization, armed with a few dozen outdated ships. They would soon learn how dangerous it was to underestimate humanity. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the Empire to walk right into it. 50 years earlier, in a small underground lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, Tom Reed stared at his computer screen with bloodshot eyes. It was 3 a.m., and he had been working for 20 hours straight. Next to him, Maria Torres carefully adjusted the controls on their test apparatus. "Try it now," Maria said, stepping back from the device. Tom pressed a button, and the small metal cube in the testing chamber seemed to fade from view. The sensors showed it was still there, but their eyes couldn't see it. Both scientists held their breath, watching the readings. 10 seconds passed. 20. 30. "It's holding," Tom exclaimed, his tired face breaking into a smile. "The energy use is stable." "Maria, we did it." The door burst open, and General William Hayes rushed in, still wearing his pajamas under his coat. "Please tell me that alert wasn't another false alarm." Maria grinned. "Look at the chamber, sir." "What chamber? I don't see." The general's eyes widened as he checked the sensor readings. "Good Lord, it's really working." "Full invisibility to both visual and electronic detection," Tom explained. "And this time, it doesn't need a nuclear reactor to power it. A standard ship's engine will do just fine." That night marked the beginning of Earth's greatest secret. Within a week, the president and other world leaders were briefed. Within a month, the Hydra Protocol was born. The next 50 years saw the biggest covert operation in human history. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, huge caves were carved into the seafloor. Inside the asteroid belt, mining operations served as cover for massive shipyards. On the dark side of the moon, whole manufacturing facilities were built in the shadows of deep craters. In a hidden training facility under the Sahara Desert, Captain Lisa Moore walked through rows of recruits. "Remember," she told them, "as far as your families know, you're working on deep-sea oil rigs or remote mining operations. The ships you'll be training on don't officially exist." The recruits nodded. They had all been carefully chosen. Brilliant pilots, engineers, and officers who could keep a secret. Their training would take years, but they would become the crew of humanity's real fleet. Meanwhile, Earth made sure the rest of the solar system saw exactly what they wanted to show. Old-style rockets launched regularly, carrying basic satellites and small crews to a simple space station. The public space fleet grew slowly, using outdated technology that any advanced civilization would see as primitive. In his office at Earth Defense Command, Admiral Walker, then just a captain, met with Tom and Maria. "How many ships can we build with this technology?" Maria brought up a holographic display. "With the hidden facilities running at full capacity, thousands, and each one will be completely invisible to current Imperial scanning technology. The hard part is keeping it all hidden," Tom added. "One spy satellite from an advanced race could ruin everything." Walker nodded. "That's why we're building the public fleet as a distraction. Let everyone focus on our visible ships while the real fleet grows in secret." The years passed. The hidden shipyards worked day and night. Special materials were mined from asteroids, processed in secret facilities, and turned into ships that could vanish from all forms of detection. The stealth technology improved with each generation. Earth's public fleet remained small and seemingly weak. Every few years, they would add another outdated ship, making sure any watching eyes saw only slow, predictable progress. In the present day, as Admiral Walker left the Defense Council meeting, he remembered all those years of preparation. He thought of the thousands of invisible ships waiting in the darkness of space, their crews trained and ready. He thought of Tom and Maria, now retired but their legacy living on in every stealth system. The Empire had no idea what they were walking into. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or their ships. It was in their patience and their ability to keep a secret for 50 long years. Now, that patience was about to pay off. The 30 days passed quickly. On the final morning, Earth's sensors detected hundreds of Imperial ships emerging from faster-than-light travel. They filled the sky like angry wasps, their metal hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Commander Richard Stone stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender, the largest ship in Earth's visible fleet. At 20 years old, the Defender looked exactly like what the Empire expected, an outdated vessel built by a young spacefaring race. "All ships report ready, sir," his communications officer said. "Though I don't know what good 30 old ships will do against that." He pointed at the tactical display showing over 500 Imperial warships. Stone allowed himself a small smile. "Sometimes, Mr. Peters, the best defense is making your enemy overconfident." The main screen lit up with the face of Imperial Admiral Marcus, his blue skin almost glowing with pride. "Your time has expired, humans. I see your pathetic fleet still guards your world. I will give you one last chance to surrender." Stone straightened in his chair. They had rehearsed this moment countless times. "This is Commander Stone of the Earth Defense Fleet. We request more time to consider your terms." Admiral Marcus laughed, the sound echoing across every radio channel. "The time for consideration is over. Now you will witness the might of the Imperial fleet." The Empire's ships moved into attack formation. Their energy weapons charge, creating beautiful but deadly light shows across their hulls. But hidden among the asteroids and beneath Earth's oceans, sensor operators in stealth ships carefully recorded every detail of the Imperial formation. "All ships, defensive formation Delta," Stone ordered, making his voice shake slightly. "And may God help us all." The tremor in his voice wasn't entirely acting. Even knowing what was coming, the sight of hundreds of Imperial warships was terrifying. The first Imperial shots streaked across space. Stone's fleet performed evasive maneuvers that were deliberately clumsy, making sure to let a few glancing hits spark against their shields. "Sir," called out his tactical officer, "their weapons are overwhelming our shields." "Hold position," Stone ordered. "We have to protect Earth as long as we can." In his command ship, Admiral Marcus watched with satisfaction as his fleet surrounded the human defenders. His sensors showed nothing but the small human fleet and their primitive orbital defenses. Everything was going exactly as expected. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a vast underwater base, Admiral Walker watched the battle through secure feeds. Next to him, the Defense Council monitored signals from their hidden ships. Every moment the Empire spent focused on Stone's decoy fleet gave their sensor crews more data about Imperial weapons and defenses. "The Empire is using standard attack pattern 6, reported an analyst. "Just like our deep space probes showed 50 years ago. They haven't changed their tactics at all." Walker nodded. "They've never needed to change, until today." He turned to Council Leader Stevens. "Sir, Stone's fleet has their complete attention. Request permission to begin Phase 2. Stevens looked at the tactical display, watching as the Imperial ships methodically surrounded Earth's visible defenders. "Signal all hidden facilities. Wake the fleet." Throughout the solar system, hidden doors began to open. In asteroid bases, massive hangar bays activated. Under the oceans, vast sections of seafloor split apart. In moon craters, shadows shifted as ships rose from their hidden berths. On the Defender's bridge, Commander Stone received a simple coded message. "Protocol Hydra activated." He allowed himself another small smile. "Sir," his sensor operator called out in fake panic, multiple new contacts appearing everywhere. But that's impossible." Admiral Marcus frowned as his bridge crew started shouting similar reports. "What do you mean, everywhere? Show me." But by then, it was already too late. The Empire's mighty fleet was about to learn why you should never corner a human. Admiral Marcus stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Where moments ago there had been only empty space, now thousands of ships were appearing. They emerged from behind asteroids, rose from Earth's oceans, and descended from the dark side of the moon. Some simply materialized out of nowhere, as if space itself was giving birth to them. "Impossible," he shouted. "Where did they come from? Why didn't we detect them?" On the bridge of the stealth carrier Shadow, Admiral Walker watched his fleet take position. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega. Remember your training. Today we show the Empire what humanity can really do. The space around Earth turned into a sea of moving vessels. Earth's stealth ships were smaller than the Imperial warships, but they were everywhere. Their black hulls, designed with Tom and Maria's stealth technology, absorbed both light and sensor scans. To Imperial sensors, they appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Commander Stone's outdated fleet suddenly changed formation. The old ships that had seemed so clumsy now moved with perfect precision, their apparent weakness revealed as another deception. This is Admiral Walker of Earth's Defense Force. A transmission cut across all frequencies. As you can see, Admiral Marcus, we weren't entirely honest about our military capabilities. In the Shadows Command Center, Walker gave the order they had waited 50 years to give. All ships, weapons free. Show them what you can do. The stealth fleet struck from every direction at once. Smaller ships darted between the Imperial vessels, firing weapons that the Empire had never seen before. Larger stealth cruisers appeared point-blank beside Imperial ships, fired devastating broadsides, then vanished again before the Empire could return fire. "My lord," an Imperial officer shouted, "we can't lock weapons on them. The targeting systems show nothing." Admiral Marcus watched in horror as his neat formation fell apart. Imperial ships fired blindly into space, their shots passing harmlessly through areas where they thought they had seen Earth vessels. On the stealth destroyer Swift, Captain Bill Turner led a squadron of ships in an attack run. Just like in training, people, they can't hit what they can't see. The Swift and its squadron appeared behind an Imperial cruiser, fired a coordinated strike that collapsed the larger ship's shields, then vanished before the Imperial gunners could respond. The maneuver was repeated across the battlefield as Earth's fleet demonstrated the results of 50 years of preparation. In Earth's underwater command center, the Defense Council watched the battle unfold. Council leader Stevens smiled as Imperial ships started to break formation. They expected to find a primitive species with a handful of ships. Instead, they found thousands of vessels they can't even detect. 50 years of hiding our true strength. Council member Brown added, 50 years of letting them think we were weak. All for this moment. Above the planet, the battle continued to unfold. Imperial ships tried to maintain formation, but Earth's stealth fleet was inside their lines, striking from every direction. The larger Imperial vessels, designed for long-range combat against visible targets, proved vulnerable to close-range attacks from ships they couldn't track. Admiral Walker, a junior officer, reported, "The Empire's fleet is splitting up. They're trying to retreat to a defensive position." Walker nodded. "Not this time. Signal all ships. Don't let them regroup. Keep them scattered." He watched as his fleet executed the order perfectly. Small groups of stealth ships herding the Imperial vessels, apart like sheepdogs managing a flock. Admiral Marcus's voice came over the command channel, no longer filled with contempt, but with growing panic. How did you hide all this?" "Simple," Walker replied. "We learned long ago that the best place to hide is in plain sight. You saw exactly what we wanted you to see, until it was too late. The battle was far from over, but its outcome was already clear. Humanity's long deception had worked perfectly, and the Empire's mighty fleet was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating their opponents." Lieutenant Anna Foster sat in the captain's chair of the stealth destroyer Thunder, watching her tactical display as her ship slipped unseen between two massive Imperial cruisers. At 28, she was one of the youngest commanding officers in Earth's hidden fleet, but she had trained for this moment her entire career. "Target locked on their power systems," her weapons officer reported quietly, though the Imperial ships couldn't have heard them anyway. "Ready to fire." "All weapons, fire," Anna ordered. The Thunder's guns lit up the darkness of space, striking both Imperial ships simultaneously. Before the enemy could react, her ship vanished again, its stealth systems making it invisible to both eyes and sensors. Across the battlefield, the same scene played out hundreds of times. Earth's ships appeared, struck hard, and disappeared before the Empire could respond. The once mighty Imperial fleet was being taken apart piece by piece. On his flagship, Admiral Marcus watched his fleet crumble. "Report," he shouted at his tactical officer. "How many ships have we lost?" 37 destroyed, my lord," the officer replied, his voice shaking. 89 badly damaged. And he paused as more reports came in. "We still can't get a solid lock on any of their vessels. It's like fighting shadows." Marcus slammed his fist on his command chair. "Impossible. No primitive race could have developed such technology without us knowing." In the underwater command center, Admiral Walker watched the battle with satisfaction. "Signal all ships. Begin Phase 3. Let's show them what else we've been hiding." Throughout the battlefield, Earth's ships activated their secondary weapon systems. Devices that the fleet had never used before, not even in training, came to life. The Empire was about to learn that stealth wasn't humanity's only secret. Energy spike detected. An Imperial officer shouted, "They're using some kind of... I don't know what this is." Special emitters on Earth's ships created zones of disrupted space where Imperial weapons wouldn't work. Other devices interfered with their faster-than-light drives, trapping them in normal space. Each new weapon represented another technology that humanity had developed in secret over 50 years. On the Thunder, Anna led her squadron in another attack run. "Squadron, form up on me. Let's show them our new toys." Her ships appeared around an Imperial battleship, their new weapons shutting down its shields completely. The massive vessel, once considered invincible, now floated helpless as Earth's ships systematically disabled its weapons. Admiral Marcus, one of his bridge officers, called out, "The crew of the Star Hammer they're surrendering." Marcus couldn't believe his ears. An Imperial ship surrendering to primitives. But as he watched, more of his ships began signaling their surrender. Their mighty weapons were useless against an enemy they couldn't detect, and now even their defensive systems were being shut down by technology they'd never seen before. "My lord," his second-in-command said quietly, "perhaps we should consider." "Never," Marcus shouted. "The Empire does not surrender to primitives." But his words were interrupted by a new transmission. Admiral Walker's voice filled every Imperial ship's command channel. "Your fleet is in ruins, Admiral Marcus. Your ships can't fight what they can't see, and now they can't even run away. You have two choices: surrender or watch the rest of your fleet be destroyed piece by piece." As if to emphasize his words, 3 more Imperial ships went dark, their power systems completely shut down by Earth's new weapons. Their crews, realizing they were helpless, began emergency evacuations. Marcus looked at his tactical display, watching as more red lights showed disabled or surrendering Imperial ships. The mighty Empire, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, was being systematically taken apart by a fleet that seemed to appear and disappear at will. The tables hadn't just turned, they had been completely flipped over. And the battle was far from over. Space lit up with new energy signatures as Imperial reinforcements arrived. 300 more warships jumped into the solar system, their weapons already charged. They were the Empire's elite reserve fleet, never before defeated in battle. Admiral Marcus's voice regained some of its confidence. "Now, primitives, you will see the true power of the Empire." The new Imperial ships moved to surround Earth's fleet, their formation perfect after centuries of practice. But Admiral Walker simply smiled as he watched them arrive. "All ships, activate the final protocol," Walker ordered. "Show them everything." Across the battlefield, Earth's stealth ships shimmered and changed. Hidden compartments opened, revealing even more weapons. The ships that had seemed small suddenly expanded, sections unfolding like mechanical flowers blooming in space. "Sir," Anna Foster's voice came over the command channel from the Thunder. "The new Imperial ships are using different scanning frequencies. Should we adjust our stealth systems?" "No need, Lieutenant," Walker replied. "Let them see what's coming." The Imperial reinforcements opened fire, their energy weapons filling space with deadly light. But Earth's ships were ready. Their hulls absorbed the energy attacks, using the enemy's own weapons to power their shields. On his command ship, the leader of the Imperial reinforcements, Grand Admiral Rex, watched in shock as his fleet's weapons had no effect. "Impossible. Our scans showed they were using simple metal hulls." "Another deception," Walker's voice answered on all channels. "We've had 50 years to study your weapons. Admiral, did you think we wouldn't learn how to counter them?" Earth's fleet moved with perfect coordination. Larger ships that had been hiding now revealed themselves, making the Imperial reinforcements look small in comparison. Humanity's secret shipyards had been busy building vessels of every size and type. In the underwater command center, Council Leader Stevens watched the battle with pride. "Send the signal. Let's end this." Thousands of small objects suddenly activated throughout the solar system. They had been hidden on asteroids, floating in space, and orbiting distant moons. Each one was a drone, another secret weapon humanity had prepared. The drones swarmed toward the Imperial ships like angry bees. They were too small to shoot down, but carried weapons powerful enough to disable the largest warships. The Empire's perfect formation broke apart as ships tried desperately to evade the drone swarms. "My lord," one of Marcus's officers said, "we're receiving surrender signals from the reinforcement fleet. Even the Grand Admiral's ship is." Before he could finish, Grand Admiral Rex's voice came over the command channel. This is impossible. We surrender. May the gods help us, we surrender." But Admiral Marcus wasn't ready to give up. "Cowards. I still command this fleet. All loyal ships, prepare for a final attack. We will show these humans what it means to face the Empire." He turned his flagship toward Earth, charging his main weapons. But as he did, something massive emerged from behind the moon. It was larger than any ship ever built by the Empire, its hull gleaming with technology far beyond their understanding. "By the stars," Marcus whispered. "What is that?" "That," Walker replied calmly, "is humanity's real flagship. We call it the Hope. We built it over 30 years, hiding it in plain sight by disguising it as a moon base. Would you like to see what it can do?" The Hope's weapons systems came online, making every other ship in the battle look like toys in comparison. Its presence alone caused the last few resistant Imperial ships to signal their surrender. Marcus slumped in his command chair, finally understanding the full scope of humanity's deception. They hadn't just hidden ships, they had hidden an entire civilization's worth of technological advancement. The mighty Empire's final attack had failed before it even began. 1 week after the battle, Admiral Walker stood in the Grand Meeting Hall of the Galactic Council. The circular chamber was filled with representatives from 100 alien species, all staring at the human delegation with a mixture of fear and respect. The massive Imperial flagship, Hope, floated outside the Council station's windows, a constant reminder of humanity's hidden strength. Its size alone made the Imperial ships guarding the station look like children's toys. "The terms are simple," Walker said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Earth will join the Galactic Council as a full member. All human territories will remain independent, and the Empire will withdraw its forces from our solar system." Grand Admiral Rex, now speaking for the Empire after Marcus's removal, nodded slowly. "The Empire accepts these terms. But you must tell us, how did you hide all of this for so long?" Walker smiled. "We learned about the Empire 50 years ago, when one of your scout ships passed through our system. Instead of announcing ourselves, we watched and waited. We built our real fleet in secret, while showing you exactly what you expected to see. A primitive species just learning to reach for the stars." On the main display screen, images appeared showing the true scale of humanity's preparation. Massive shipyards hidden inside asteroids, underwater cities that served as building facilities, and the dark side of the moon revealed as one giant construction yard. "Impossible," one of the alien counselors whispered. The resources needed were mined from asteroids and outer planets, Council Leader Stevens explained, standing beside Walker. Every public mining operation we ran was covering for a much larger secret operation. Every primitive ship we launched held sensors studying your technology. We turned our entire solar system into a hidden fortress, right under your noses. The council chamber erupted in excited whispers as more details were revealed. The humans had not just hidden ships, they had concealed an entire industrial civilization's worth of advancement. In the weeks that followed, news spread across the galaxy. Empire-controlled worlds began demanding independence, inspired by Earth's successful resistance. Other young civilizations that had been hiding their own developments began revealing their true capabilities. On Earth, the mood was celebratory but focused. In his office at Earth Defense Command, Admiral Walker met with Tom and Maria, the now elderly scientists who had started it all with their stealth technology. "Did you ever think," Tom asked, looking at the celebration pictures from across the planet, "that your little stealth ship project would lead to all this?" Maria smiled, watching ships from a dozen alien worlds landing openly at Earth's spaceports. "We just wanted to protect Earth. Instead, we might have changed the whole galaxy." Walker nodded. "The age of imperial dominance is over. Now we help build something better. A galaxy where young civilizations don't have to hide their achievements out of fear." The door opened, and Lieutenant Anna Foster entered, now wearing a captain's insignia. "Sir, the first group of alien students has arrived for the technology exchange program." "Good," Walker replied. "Show them everything. No more secrets, no more hiding. It's time for all species to grow together." Outside the window, Earth's fleet was visible for the first time in 50 years. Its ships no longer hiding in the shadows. They shared space with vessels from other worlds, former Empire subjects who now looked to Earth as an example of what was possible. In the end, humanity's greatest victory hadn't come from their weapons or their stealth technology. It had come from their patience, their ability to plan, and their determination to resist tyranny not through brute force, but through careful preparation and clever deception. As the sun set on another busy day of diplomatic meetings and technology exchanges, the Hope's massive form caught the last rays of sunlight, its hull gleaming like a beacon of change for the entire galaxy. The Empire's defeat had ushered in a new age, and humanity was ready to help lead the way forward. The time for hiding was over. The time for building a better future had begun.